We will go ahead and just get started. We're not going to take up, too much of everyone's time. We want to make sure that, everyone's in vacation mode. So we'll go light. But it's been an interesting market. So, Ray, I'm going to throw this over to you. In this current market, what does your daily routine look like? Would you be able to explain that pretty briefly to everybody listening?
So at the moment, I mean, I'm on a vacation, so I'm not really paying attention to the markets too much. But from what I've seen, we know for a fact that the semi group is going to be the leadership group. I'm just trying to keep on top of what can hold this market up and what can rally, to a level where it can sustain, sort of hold up the market, the breadth increases, and sort of drag everything else with it. So stocks like AMD, MU with the gap up post earnings, TTD that's shaping up the right side. Tesla, of course, being a S&P component is going to be key. And I've also been looking at pretty much one symbol, which is IoT, which is a newer issue to the markets that's been acting well.
Awesome. Now, if you weren't on vacation, how much different would your daily routine look like? You have a pretty intricate daily routine, even your weekly routine, if you wanted to
Yeah,
touch on
okay.
that.
So I guess I didn't even answer the question, but my daily routine. So when the market closes, one of the first things I'm doing is posting a portfolio update so that folks on TL Private are aware of my positions and the actions that I took. That's actually been, it's a way to teach people to show them how I'm applying the knowledge, but also to show them just keeps me accountable as well on a day-to-day basis. So reviewing my positions, that's the first thing. Second is to go over my 4 key watch lists, which is the gappers watch list, the IPO watch list, the HDF watch list, plus the focus list. And then basically those 3 watch lists make up the universe of stocks that I'll be looking at for the week. That's done in my weekend routine, but on a daily basis, I'm reviewing them, looking for setups among those, and then making a focus list for the next session. It takes me about no more than 90 minutes to sort of accomplish that, and then the rest of the evening I'm spending time with either answering questions that other folks might have or with friends and family.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, your daily routine, a lot of people notice it. Your weekly routine, it stands out a lot. I know when I first was introduced to it, I was impressed. I knew that I had to really change what I was doing. But all right, so those lists that you mentioned, could you give a quick description, of what each of those lists accomplish for you? Like, what do you hope what do they achieve for you?
So the first one that I look at is the gappers watch list, which is basically looking at big gaps in the market, something like a MU that gapped up post earnings recently, or PLAB if you pull up that ticker on your guys' end, or things like, I'm looking for a more obvious example that I have on my list, like MTTR with the highest volume ever a while ago, back in late November, made it to my gappers list. So that first list is big volume on earnings or some other catalyst. The second, which I feel is important, is the IPO watch list. It sort of tells us, what is the risk appetite in the markets. When the markets are good, there are a lot of setups in the IPO space. When when it's a risk-off environment, I don't see as many setups in the IPO space. So that's my second watch list. And the third one, which was really, it's a watch list when the market is really, really, really good, is the HDF watch list, which is just stocks that have made a move of a minimum of 100% over a certain time span that meet the high tech flag criteria. So those 3 particular watch lists make up my universe, and then I pull symbols from those and pull them to my focus list.
Awesome. Thank you for explaining that. Last question for you right now. How many positions do you ideally keep on your like your ultimate focus list? How many do you like to go into watching each day, and how many do you like to hold in your portfolio at once?
So yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the trend. So my focus is I need to be in leadership groups. That's something that Ross emphasizes pretty much constantly. So my focus list should be reflective of what can lead the market higher. So at the moment, something like MU, AMD, QCOM, Marble, PLAB are in the semi space, so those are on my focus list. Newer names that exhibited RS like CIEN, PSCG, those are on my focus list as well. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah, no, that definitely that answered the question. Sorry, I know it's a little confusion for people that are just popping in now. We were live before and we had some technical difficulties. But yeah, so Ray's just explaining his list that he keeps and maintains and how he comes up with a universe list, his focus list. It's pretty cool stuff. That he's doing over there. So you did mention some names that you're watching. Do you I know you're on vacation. I'm sorry to keep make you working right now, but are there any potential themes that you're seeing? So any early themes that you're seeing develop under the surface?
the one that's super clear that everybody's looking at the moment has to be the semi space. There's nothing more obvious that exhibited relative strength as a group in the markets. The other one I feel is the biotech space is actually acting pretty well. We're seeing a lot of the names in the biotech space coming up the right side. So that's another group. I know many people try to avoid that group because of you could have an 80% gap down, which actually one of the tickers had a couple of days ago, where on a bad data you land on a landmine and you lose 80% overnight. So they come with a different level of risk associated with them. But semi equipment, the typical software space has been acting well in the growth domain. So like right now, I mean, early in the trend, we're only day three per the system that I have in place. We're day three into this trend that is developing, and my focus is I own a bunch of semis, and I've made good progress. So as we'll see if this trend is going to last. If it lasts 3 to 5 days, and then we get a pull in again right when liquidity comes in into the new year, that's a different story. But for now, I'm sticking to that space. And then as the trend broadens out, we get, day 7 to 9 or 7 to 15 area, we might have other groups starting to participate and other themes coming to the market.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for explaining that. How do you, Ray or Richard? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Now versus when you first started trading. How do you view the market differently? I know that's a loaded question there, and tell me if I jumped the gun a little too quick. But think about it and let me
So
know.
yeah, for me, I mean, for me, it's year 12 now. In the markets, I'm still not the most experienced. I mean, someone like Ross might be a better question for him. But for me, I mean, I used to when I started out, I always associated like I never thought how important psychology was, how important consistency was in the markets, how important just doing what you're doing, but doing it repeatedly, again and again to extract some sort of income out of maybe a setup that you learn. How important that sort of stuff is. When you start out, you associate. If you make money, you're good. And you've made it. If you don't make money, then you're not making progress. So just getting over that psychological hump, I think. Uh, Early in my trading, I never thought of it like that. Right now, if I miss a couple of stocks that are breaking out or I misinterpret the market, I don't really get down on myself as much as I used to. I sort of, there's always going to be more opportunity in the markets. Just coming, learning that sort of comes with experience. Thinking in terms of percentages when your account gets a little bit large in size, that is something that also comes with experience. Early on, you're only associating with, I made X amount per day, or people try to set dollar goals, like I want to make $500 a day or something like that. Those are okay, but to a point where you get past that, you move away from those goals, and the way you look at the market shifts a little bit. If you miss a setup, you miss two breakouts, you miss three breakouts. You don't execute well. You don't really get down on yourself as you get experience. Richard?
Yeah, on my side, I mean, I'm definitely relatively new to the game, only in kind of year 3. And first, even before I say anything, I just want to say that even though Ray's on vacation, he's probably working harder and trading better than 99% of people out there. So, yeah, just want to say that. But anyway, I was very fortunate to not really have to undo many bad habits, just because my first exposure to the market was from Dr. Wish, who already had kind of an established system. He's been trading for 50 years, emphasized risk management above all else. So I think, especially in the past year or so, it's more about trying to really take advantage of the turns in the market, and when we start a new uptrend, try to really take advantage of the opportunities early, get some profits going, so you can kind of relax a little bit later on in the trend. So that's kind of been a change in my mind. But yeah, no huge shifts. I think one thing I have realized over the past few years, and I've said this a few times, is you really have to watch the leaders. They'll give you an indication of where the market is going. Ross always says the health and breadth of the market is basically, it's really what matters. But yeah, Ross, what about you? What do you think is kind of some main differences between how you view the market now versus when you first started?
Yeah, I think Ray, really touched on it. So with experience, I think I just approach it in a lot more calm fashion. As time went, I think FOMO gets everyone. You start listening to the folks around you, and you automatically feel like you're missing out if everyone's making money and you're not. It took me a while to learn that it really doesn't matter. There's a million opportunities out there, and honestly, more than half the time, you'll probably buy the stock you thought you missed anyway at a better spot or a better price or whatever it is. So I'm a lot more calm about that sort of thing. And I've really, I would tell you that most of my mistakes came from letting my personal life affect me too much, whether it, be, I'm just that sort of thing where, not to get into anything personal, but, whether it be family or whatever it was. So if there's something like that sort of thing, I lost my train of thought. What?
Sorry. No. You that's a good point. You really.
Oh yeah. So yeah, just dealing with that sort of thing, like when things come up, that handling the stress in the market, my emotions. That's where I was going. I totally lost my train of thought. I'm in the middle of Jared Tendler's book, which I'm really enjoying. So I think now is when I'm really realizing like how much the stuff that I didn't really think about, like and how it affected me, is the stuff outside of the market, that sort of thing. So I've learned a lot how to live my life alongside the market instead of making everything around me live around the market and be, my emotions would move up and down with the market a lot more than they do now. I would, tell you that. So I can kind of enjoy my life a lot more now. And obviously the people that are close to me, because you know how that goes when you're upset about the market, they know. So that I would say is my biggest, that whole psychological, emotional is what really has changed. I'm a whole lot calmer inside.
Yeah, that's something that you really instilled in me over the years. Balance is so important, and something I'd like to point out that was personal to me in the beginning is revenge trading is a real thing. People don't understand. Like sometimes you're doing the wrong thing, and like you just keep doing it anyway. So mentality is just really so important. Work and life balance is so important, and then also you don't want to be the person that the market's down, you're not fun to be around. The market's up, you're like the best guy to be around.
And you don't want to bring those problems to the market, because when your head's not straight, I don't care I don't care who you are, how long you've been trading, if your head's, somewhere else, and it always can be due to just life in general, you need to understand and realize when you're in that spot and maybe walk away from your desk for the day. And I mean, that's a big part of it also. I'd highly recommend Jared Tendler's book. That's top of the list of my new must-read books for trading. So anyway.
So, I mentioned that your emphasis on work-life balance and not trading when your head's not right had such a big impact on me. And, you got the chance and opportunity to work with Bill, William O'Neill. Was there anything that you remember that Bill ever repeatedly mentioned not to do? Was there something that he was extremely vocal about?
There's probably a few things I could come up with, but one, I guess, relevant to now was around follow-through days, and his whole the market doesn't care what you think or how you feel. So never, so his big thing was never doubt a follow-through day. If you've got a follow-through day, you follow your rules. You buy stocks that are breaking out or giving you entry points, and then you again follow your rules and risk management, whatever it is that you do to get yourself out with minimal harm. If a follow-through day fails, however, there are a bunch. It was, I'm not going to say a common thing, but there was more than one of us, let's say, that would doubt a follow-through day, not get long in the first 2 days, and for whatever reason, the market would take off and you get left behind, that sort of thing. So that's all. That was his whole big thing. Market doesn't care what you think or how you feel, so don't doubt a follow-through day. And so this one, what we've got now is so we saw the NASDAQ and the S&P follow through. The NASDAQ quickly failed, undercut the low of its rally. So all you need is a follow-through on one index. The follow-through day on the S&P is still valid. And what you're seeing now, and what I like is, so you've seen folks rotate into some of the slower, more liquid, safer, growthy stocks to hide in, the big institutions that really can't go to cash. And what we're seeing now is those are really continuing to hold up. And Ray had mentioned semiconductors are on fire. I've been seeing the rotation into biotech for days now. So as long as we're watching the NASDAQ recover, obviously there's no volume the last couple of days because Christmas is Saturday. I'm sorry, I lost. Were we back? Was I talking about leadership?
Yeah, you're talking about leadership. Don't worry.
Yeah. So as far as
So
what
are your thoughts? What are your final thoughts on the market?
My final thoughts are I actually really like the way. Oh yeah, that's right. We're talking about follow through day. So as long as leadership can continue to shape up from here, and we start to see more and more of those classical growth names join, the oil stocks, the REITs, the building stocks, the coal, and what have you. So we still could have hell of a Christmas rally and awesome market, when we return. And honestly, 3-4 days ago, I don't think anybody thought that could possibly happen. So
yeah, it's crazy. You go look at a bunch of charts and scan, and everything looks terrible, like the end of the world. And a couple of days later, it's like you're in a candy store or something.
Right, 3-4 days. And when you're looking at it, you think, oh man, this is going to take weeks and months to heal. And then the next thing you know, you're like, it's like 3 days have gone by. I'm like, Ray, it looks like it's time to buy stocks, doesn't it? Very often because his indicator is earlier than what I look at, and I'm starting to get a feel. I'm like, for Ray's day one just by watching the leaders now. So,
absolutely. All right. Well, we wanted to keep it short, so I guess before we end, is there any final thoughts that any of you guys wanted to add? Any favorite book that you wanted to recommend? Something that you want someone to take away during their time off, and sit and think about.
I think it's that time of the year to sort of do your post-trade analysis, review how 2021 went, be honest with yourself, take a look at your results, and look in the mirror and discuss your trading with yourself, which is post-trade analysis. If you're not doing that, you're going from a year to year, quarter to quarter, month to month, not really looking at your mistakes or what you're doing. in the markets, you're really not going to get better, or incrementally improve yourself as you develop as a trader. So I think it's that time of the year, to really dig down, be honest, look at yourself, look at your trades, your mistakes, what setups made you most money, what entry tactics yielded you the best returns, and really take that, take those things from your post-trade analysis to get better for 2022. And again, one of the things that I think Fami was referring to, you don't have to wait for 2022 to sort of start your year. So you could start today, you could have started 2 weeks ago, you could have started a month ago with those sort of changes in your trading, or outside of your trading, with whatever you're trying to accomplish. So I think that's one of the keys.
Yeah, that's you have to be honest with yourself at the end of the day. Until you are honest with yourself, you're not going to change and see really any improvement. So that's really important. Richard, I'll throw it over to you. Did you have any final thoughts before we head off into Christmas?
Yeah, I was going to say a pretty similar thing to Ray. I know I definitely identified some areas I got to work on this year, trying to stop over trading. I got chopped up a little bit in February, did better into the end of the year, but that's definitely an area that I might make some new rules about. But yeah, it's definitely a time for reflection. Think about areas you do bad at, but also look at your strengths as well. Analyze the best winners, and your worst losers of the year, and try to just learn something and improve the next year. And I think I'll be posting the template I did last year, kind of grading myself, and I'll do that again this year. And maybe for everybody who does it as well and kind of submits responses, I might give out, I don't know, a TL annual membership or a Oliver Kell masterclass to I guess a random person who submits. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. But other than that, I mean, it's Christmas time. Enjoy yourself, spend some time with family, have some fun, come back refreshed and ready to really kick 2022's ass.
Great point. All right. That was awesome. I guess we'll leave it there. Like I said, we wanted to just hop on quick, have fun, hang out, have a little conversation. So everybody that joined us, we appreciate your time. Everybody that celebrates Christmas, have a very Merry Christmas. Enjoy the time off. And we will see you next week in the next TL Space.